So, part 2, we've seen the 2000 watt Hoover, not very good, but Billy bonus treat for you. Got another one! We have a 2300 watt Hoover, even worse. Let's have a look at this one. Yes, hello my vacuum cleaner chums, how are you today, etc, etc, etc. This is part 2 of our little Hoover Dust Manager Bagless Bonanza. Because yes, at the same car boot sale that I got this, I found this. Bit of a story. I haven't done the car boot tales, my camera glasses ate themselves. They physically melt the micro SD cards now, and because it sits there, I don't really want to use them. Plus they were pretty rubbish. I need to probably save up 150 quid and get a proper pair. If you watch LGR, his LGR thrift episodes, I know which ones he uses, and they're about 130 quid on Amazon, so I might ask for some Amazon stuff for my birthday later on in the year and get some, and we shall continue. So that is paused for now. So I'm going to tell you the story of how I found these, rather than you seeing it on a car boot tales. So went along, first car boot of the year, had £20 of me, didn't take a lot because I don't have a lot of money to spend. Walked around, there wasn't a fantastic amount. There's a DC04, I'm a bit bored of DC04s at the minute, still got 3 of them to sell, or they have sold and haven't gone. There was a VAX 121, if you remember from part 5 when I boxed up my VAX, I said, oh, get a really rubbish one and we'll do it up. This was perfect. It was missing a few tools, it had no wash tools, the trigger was missing from the solution tube and there were no small tools, but it was all there, had a Power Plus head. Guy wanted 35 quid for it and he was a bit rude when I offered him a fiver. I was polite, oh sod it, whatever, mate. Oh, I'm going to put it in an auction, I'll get that for it. Pff, off you go, son. Walked away from that, found this, bought this, put that out of the way now, carried on walking around, literally nothing else. Went over to the other little bit of the field. If you remember from when I bought the Orec, in whichever car boot tales that was, it was that big they'd opened up like a second bit. So I walked around there, saw a stall with this and 2 other vacuums on it actually. There was a VAX Bagless thing and the Electrolux Mondo, which again was definitely got, but it just had the hose. And problem with Electrolux Mondos is they're too old to be bought by normal people. So they had to be complete enough for me to be able to sell them to a collector, and it wasn't. So I bought this instead for a laugh for 3 quid. So both of these cost me a tenner. Can't argue with that. So yes, I now have 2 of these hateful things. Didn't get as many tools with it. Again though, this is why I bought it as well. I got the hose, came with it. I got the Hoover Pet Hair Remover Turbo Tool, the awful 2-in-1 tool, and 3/4 of a floor tool. So we'll go through all that in a minute. Let's have a close look at this version. So I think generationally we skip forward a few years, because as you can tell, from the design of the writing, obviously this one is also quite blocky, square, formal text. This is the more common version. This is what all the Pure Powers were fonted up in. All the Pure Powers, Dust Managerlesses, all the other cylinders like this. So this is a year or 2 older, I think. It is now 2300 watts. Whether that's its peak, I don't know if they ever tried to shoehorn the 25 or 2600 watt in this, not entirely sure. It's missing its little Hoover roundel. Bit of a shame. I think if I'm being really picky, especially under this light, the orange is ever so slightly lighter on this one than this one. I can sort of see it on the screen. This one's a bit redder than this one, but obviously it could just be because this one's a lot filthier. Internally, than this one, because this one's quite clean actually. Obviously, just like the other one, I have not touched this. This is, I plugged them in, checked they worked, and that was it really, just so I don't turn them on in here and stink my mother's entire house out. Fired them up in the garden, checked they worked. One difference is this one has some ridges on the front handle. Oh, this one doesn't. Keep you a bit near, I think. Apart from that, they are utterly identical. This one does have its ratings plate. This is a TC5235, and I would imagine that is 2010, which would make vague sense. Made in PRC, of course. We open her up. Now this one is a lot different. If I just tilt you down a little bit, there we go. The dust compartment side is utterly covered in fine dust. However, the back motor exhaust side isn't. This is the filter diffuser. In fact, if I look at this one, which you remember we vacuumed off in part 1, that little demo has made it do that. And it should be identical to that. So this one already seems an awful lot better. If we move forward to the cassette, it is a different shade to the other one and is grey, not yellow. Don't quite think anything else has changed on it, I'll be completely honest. We have a look at its filter. Its filter is a lot cleaner for a start. I can't quite see any writing to work out if this is a better filter than the other one or not. Although one thing I had just noticed is that the seal is different on this one. So they must have improved on the earlier one, which obviously fell out on us, let alone any normal person emptying it. This has a date wheel of 2005, but obviously that's just for this part. I haven't seen any date wheels on the machine itself. If we open it up, oh, it has dust in it. Put it out on the floor. You can see the inside is pretty much identical as well. Literally nothing really in it of note. So we'll put that in there. We'll pop that in there. But already it's a lot cleaner. This has either had some love at some point or just not been as badly abused as the other one. In here, this one has one of the Hoover helpline stickers on it, but the other one doesn't. It's only Hoover original. I don't know if their phone number's still working, you know. Should we have a quick go? It might be. Let's do, I'll just see if it works. We won't actually speak to anybody. What we got? We got 08443 712 758.
Thank you for calling Hoover Candy Service.
Ah.
You may wish to use our 03.
Well, it works, but has changed. In fact, they've got different numbers actually. That one's got 08705 on it. This one has 08444. So that would have been when they were a different direction every week, or bought by a different company every week. I don't know if these probably pre-TTI. So they probably are candy. If we have a look here, this filter has a cage on it, which I presume the other one possibly should have had, or not. Don't quite know. This one is it's like a big old style air freshener, because you can see the dust coming off of it. So we'll have to give that a vacuum off shortly. But this makes fitting it an awful lot easier. Because it just sort of sits there. That's it. That's fitted. We'll pop the dust caster back in. This one is not the HEPA filter of the other one. Obviously this is the torn out one there. This one is just a big bit of sponge and a cassette, which is fantastic because this will go in the washing machine and come out like new. Also in here, I'll just zoom you in a little bit, is much cleaner. So this machine obviously hasn't been as badly abused / it's just been looked after, really. So that's good. That's very good indeed to see, although this seal's falling apart. Nothing a drop of glue won't fix. Let's just put that on there. And also, the hood doesn't fall off, unlike the older one, so not too bad at all. Has the same style plug and the same style cable. I'll just plug this in. Have I got the switch off? Yes, I do. It runs absolutely spot on, sounds a bit better than the other one. Cord rewind is just as fierce. I can't put it all the way in because I'll pull my lights down because they're plugged into the same 4-way socket. So yes, not too bad at all. Hose wise, this is a different style of hose. It has an angled connector and a more angled, straight angled hose end with a blanked off suction control, so we'll fit that. And on low, there's some power. I'll be honest, you can do that for dusting. It just about tries to hold the hose up. With clean filters, it probably would. If we whack it up full, doesn't quite feel as powerful as it should, whether that's just because internally it's so disgustingly filthy. Let's try to put the other one back together. I thought we could do a little comparison. Whether it's just because it's so filthy inside, like a Dyson grips, that all the suction is just bleeding out of everywhere it shouldn't. Dare to turn both of these on at the same time because that'll be 4,300 watt hours running through one 4-way socket. Yes, this one does look like, does feel stronger suction wise. I'm going to swap the Hoover round as well. So, okay, this one's not at its peak performance, I'll be honest, as much as it should have been. Let's move on to the tools. Yes, now I thought these moved up and down for a dusting brush, but it turns out not all of them did. So this is correct. This is a 2-in-1, not a 3-in-1. There's the horrible upholstery brush, that end, and this end is the crevice tool, which is fantastic if your crevices are bigger than the wand itself. I'm going to bang this out just quickly, just to get some test dirt. Oh look, we've ruined it, what a shame. Because now we can move on to the pet hair remover, which isn't too lovely. I'll be honest, you can open it up to that, which is pointless, I'll be honest. But we'll see if it works, I don't know. Let's start on low and see when it starts to move. Oh, there we go. not a very happy turbo brush at all. If I just zoom you in a little bit to the dirt that I've just smashed out of the filter from the other one, we'll see if it can actually clean it up. No, I'm sorry, there is something not quite right about this one. Let's give the filters a good hoover. I'm in vacuum, please don't blackball me from the club. I was just about to reach for the Kirby, but then I thought, why? When we can make its younger brother do it for it. Sod it. So, we shall start by giving this a bit of a vacuum. There we go, that might possibly do it. Going to give the rubber seals a bit of a wipe because that always helps, especially on these hateful bagless things. Always helps to have a good... Oh, I've just broken that. Fiddlesticks. Oh, good job we got a spare, isn't it? Right, whatever. I can use the... Well, it will still work for now, but we'll need the spare canister for my plans for it shortly, which I shall tell you. I'd imagine that it's identical canister. Top actually, the bottom's different, the top's not. So we shall keep that, and I shall just be a little bit more careful in the future. I didn't mean to. This seal is terrible, but a little bit too far down for me to get to, so we'll put the filter back in. Now it's a bit cleaner. He says not being able to locate it. There we go. We'll put the canister back in. Just give this a bit of a vacuum off. That'll do, probably. Right, see if it's any better. Wow. So just from that little tiny wipe over, it is transformed. So there's the two tools that work. This is missing the angled adapter that actually connects to the one. So this is scrap. I'm just going to show you that it has a nice metal base plate, very rusty. It's missing its rear squeegee, but it's scrap. So there we go. So what indeed are my plans for these orange beauties? Well, let me tell you, my vacuum cleaner chums, what my plans are. Basically, I'm going to keep one and scrap the other. Yes, that is right. I'm going to keep the 2300 watt PETS version and use the 2000 watt normal version for spares. My reasoning being that I will sell this just normally as a vacuum cleaner once I'm done with it. And if it says 2300 watt PETS, people generally sillily assume that it is better because that is what the public do, as most of us collectors know. So I'm going to keep, and obviously this body is much better than this body because the top doesn't fall off every 5 seconds. So I'm going to swap the Hoover roundel onto this one. In fact, I don't know if we can do that now. Yes, we can do. Oh, stupid thing. There we go, the Hoover logo just clips off. So if I give that a little bit of a buff, where's my cloth gone? We'll give that a bit of a buff up. There we go, look, oh shiny. Shiny Hoover. Come on, let's keep that. There we go. It has its badge of honour, I suppose. Oh, why did they go so wrong? So there we go. Also, this obviously has an filter. I don't quite fancy spending 18 quid on a new one of those when I'm only going to get 40 utterly tops for the machine. One thing that we've got to do now, because I've just broken it, is we shall take, gosh, this is disgusting, we shall take this Cyclone cover and now replace the one that I've just broken. Whoops. So there we go. I hope these fit. Yeah, look at that, look. They do, just. Do they please fit? Yeah, they do. I think it's just the seal. So obviously they just clip over there rather than going into it. So obviously it was a bit of a design improvement, but hey ho, let's just double check before we get ahead of ourselves that it still fits. Yes. So there we go. Carl, that one picked up a lot, didn't it, in part one? Blimey McTrousers. I know, we'll keep that for in a second. So, there we go. This one is effectively now just going to be kept until I have refurbished the other one, just in case anything else breaks or I find anything wrong. So if you need a motor or cord V1 for one of these, please do get in touch. What's next? Hoses. Well, obviously I have two hoses. Yes, two different hoses. This hose is already spoken for. One of the reasons I picked up both is because I know that a certain vacuum cleaner collector, who we all know and love, but I'm not going to spoil a surprise, needs this exact hose. And indeed he has paid me for this, and there were a couple of other little bits and bobs, a whole tenner. So these were free, which is just my kind of price. So that can now, I filmed this, go over there and be posted out. So we are left with this hose. Now lives there. Now obviously there was no extension tube with this one, so the wand now lives here. This one's quite easy because obviously one of these floor tools is A, much nicer, B, much less broken. So there we go. Look, we're going to swap the floor tools around. Small tool fits on to there like so. Park that in there, and obviously I now have the PET turbo tool. So in theory, for free, we have a very complete Hoover Dust Manager Cyclonic 2300 watt pet vacuum cleaner, which I shall do the usual to, which will be full refurb thread, and you will see it afterwards for an after video. Look forward to that. I'm not going to rush it. I've got a few other bits I want to do first. This is going to go into the shed of shite, as it is now called, for another day. But I just wanted it complete. And again, that can just live outside now. I might stick it in the bottom of the shed. But basically, yes, this is what we are keeping. So, before we say farewell, because once I clean this, the after video isn't going to involve dirt, I'm afraid, because once I clean it, I want to sell it. I can't say it dirty, and the problem with these is that they get dirty. You could probably suck the air and it will get dirty. So the after video won't contain any dirt, I'll just be showing you it. So let's get some dirt in now. Let's tip this out. There we go. So I have some dirt from a couple of machines actually, because I didn't quite have enough. Let's see if it can pick it all up. It's on max. One button. Wait for the motor to slowly ramp up. Oh, for goodness sake. It's clogged up already. What has happened? Oh gosh. The dirt has stuck straight around the shroud. Oh, that's interesting. Does what the AEG Ultra Captic used to do and drive me crazy. Okay. Let's pick up some of the big chunks slowly. No, it's gone again. God, these are terrible. You live in there. Oh my God, I've left some fine dust down. Surely it should be able to cope with fine dust, shouldn't it? God, one of these things is terrible, isn't it? Maybe I shouldn't have bought it. Right, let's try again. That's the release valve. What's your problem this time? Right, that's all the dirt that has so far clogged the filter. The hose isn't blocked, so I don't quite know what its flipping problem is. What's your problem, man? You have plenty of space. You can't be clogged up. No way, Jose. So it clogged itself up, but the bag light isn't on. Nothing is happening here. This just feels like it's floating straight. Right, I'm just going to give up now. Vacuum that up with something else. Feel like I've wasted money and I haven't even spent any. Oh well. Next time you see this, it should be shiny, but possibly just as crap. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, ish, and I shall see you soon. Bye bye.